What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my video. Hope y'all have an amazing day as usual. Before in today's video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and always comment down below. It really helps out the videos. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the most wealthy communities in New Jersey, and we're talking places that make a lot of money. There's one particular area of New Jersey that is really wealthy. We're going to be visiting three communities: Chatham, Summit, and then Short Hills. And we'll show you guys what we find along the way. Surprisingly or not, New Jersey is actually the fourth wealthiest state in the country. The median household income in New Jersey is $73,000 a year, which is well above the national average. Now, I might find this surprising because I don't really spend too much time in really wealthy communities. Most of the time when I'm in New Jersey, I'm in usually middle-class communities, sometimes lower-class communities, so I don't really see a lot of New Jersey's wealth. I've seen it, but I'm not always around it, and I'm definitely surprised that New Jersey is this high. The only states that beat New Jersey for the wealthiest people is Massachusetts, New York, and Connecticut. The wealthiest part of New Jersey is generally around here, parts of southeastern Morris County, the western portion of Essex County, and some parts of Union County are definitely the wealthiest communities in New Jersey. From New Providence all the way to Livingston, kind of by Madison, and pretty much all the way to Maplewood is all just this expanse of really wealthy communities. The first town we're going to be exploring is Chatham. Now, Chatham is in Morris County, and obviously it's one of the wealthiest places in the state. Now, I haven't spent much time in Chatham, but it's always had that reputation of being a really wealthy community. But the first time I actually spent some time there, I was kind of surprised. It seemed more like middle and upper middle class more than anything else, but the median household income doesn't lie. The average is $209,283, but it's not a very big city, and the town center is really nice and charming. Here is one of the less wealthy parts of the city. This is just south of downtown Chatham. For the most part, homes around here go for about $500,000, and most people make probably around $100,000. It's not super wealthy around here, but it is pretty nice. The whole town itself is just kind of charming. They have a historic district, and I really like Chatham. They also have a really neat, cute-looking post office. There's also a train station located right in the middle of town for easy access for wealthy commuters to commute and work in New York City. This is what the real estate's looking like. You can buy this house for $2.1 million, which is very expensive. There's also more affordable options like this townhouse, which is $485,000. And this split level that is worth $899,000. That is a ripoff for that house. As I drove down the main street in Chatham, I noticed that there were a lot of just local businesses. There were very few chains, and there's a neat little historic district as well. Mostly colonial and Victorian-style houses. I'm not a huge fan of Victorian-style houses, but I must say the town's pretty relaxing and pretty chill. The crime rate in Chatham is next to nothing, unsurprisingly. And the schools are great. It seems like, honestly, just a great place to live. That is, if you can afford it. This place is really expensive. But out of all the places we're going to visit today, I think this is probably the least wealthy. When it comes to median household income, Chatham's actually wealthier than our next community, Summit. But from what I've seen, Chatham homes are not as big, and it just seems like it's less exclusive than Summit and Short Hills. But it's definitely one of New Jersey's wealthiest communities, for sure. There's plenty of nice restaurants in Chatham as well. I've been to two myself, and yeah, I just really like it. As I was kind of disappointed with some of the streets I visited in Chatham, I decided to take a turn onto a residential neighborhood. And the homes here were really nice. They weren't spectacular. Most of these homes go for $1 million, sometimes more, sometimes less. But this is certainly a really wealthy community. Just look at that house right there. It's nothing crazy, but It's pretty nice. Chatham seems like a really nice place to live. I'd like to live there, but I'll probably never be able to afford it, so that's the end of that. The next city we're going to go to is Summit. Summit is not as wealthy, surprisingly, with a median household income of $151,000 a year, but Summit seems far more exclusive than Chatham. Summit seems like the type of place where you'll have foreign babysitters that babysit the children every single day. And it's that type of place where you'll see either a black or Hispanic woman pushing a stroller with white kids in it. It's that type of place. This is the most expensive home in Summit. This home is going for $7 million. You cannot afford that. And this is the cheapest house, about $500,000, which it's a nice house, but it's not worth the price. This is pretty much the wealthiest part of Chatham I'd seen. Really, really big houses and just really nice neighborhoods. During the summertime, you'll see many landscapers and contractors making improvements on already very nice houses. While those contractors and landscapers are doing that, most of the parents and kids are probably at the country club or at a pool club during the summer. The real estate here in Summit is mostly very expensive. It's hard to find much under $1 million. I mean, you can, but the homes that are under $1 million aren't very big compared to these houses. Most of these houses are worth well over $1 million. While you might see Lamborghinis in places like Hollywood, it's all Teslas and suburban mom SUVs around here. This is downtown Summit. And downtown Summit's a lot bigger than downtown Chatham, but it also seems a lot more expensive and exclusive. There are absolutely no chain stores here in downtown Chatham, and I didn't see one piece of litter anywhere. There are plenty of fancy restaurants and fancy places to shop, yoga, Pilates, anything a suburban mom could do, you'll find right here. You'll find many bougie salons and coffee shops as well. Places like Lululemon and West of Elm. This is downtown Summit. You have fancy stores like Lululemon and West Elm. I mean, they're not like crazy fancy, but they're pretty nice stores. Here are all the wealthy Summit commuters that are getting off the train from New York City. Likely, they're getting home from their tech and finance jobs for the most part. A lot of people here are also like writers for the New York Times, authors, journalists, people that mean business. Most of these people, even as they're getting off the train, walk very fast like they have somewhere to be. Don't hold them up because they're always in a rush. This train station is actually a lot bigger than most of the other train stations in the area, probably to accommodate all the wealthy commuters that commute into New York City from Summit. But realistically, most of the really rich people here probably do their finance and tech jobs from home, more than likely. Here's a last little look at downtown Summit. It's actually pretty big. Lots of really bougie shops and restaurants here. Yeah. Just feels really exclusive around here. There you can see some wealthy people who probably got off the train and went right into the restaurant to eat. Obviously, you can't have a affluent place without a Starbucks, right? and the train station is actually really big. Here it's more exclusive, while downtown Chatham seems more warm and welcoming. Before we leave Summit, I figured I'd just show you guys this place. It's called the Summit Diner. It's actually a train car. It's closed right now for dinner. I don't think they're open for dinner, but let's get a nice little view. Super old school. It's so old school that it's cash only. Not a lot of places are cash only anymore. This place looks really fancy inside. Summit House. And then I already showed you guys Lululemon. This is a steakhouse here, which looks like it was a bank. You can tell it was definitely a bank at some point. 12 Roots Steakhouse. Just look at the inside. Just pause and take a second. It looks very dark and very fancy in there. It's getting a little bit dark, but hopefully we'll have enough time to go to Short Hills. Sure, you could say that Chatham and Summit are very wealthy places, but what I've seen in Short Hills blows anything in Chatham or Summit away. Short Hills is not only the wealthiest community in this part of the state, it's actually the wealthiest community in New Jersey. The median household income here is $250,000, and that's the average. But come on, most of the people that live in these mansions make well over $1 million a year in salary. Most of these people definitely work in finance. I mean, you could have other jobs, but the only job that can really afford the houses around here are finance jobs. And this right here is nothing compared to some of the other houses we'll see in Short Hills very shortly. No pun intended. Short Hills is extremely exclusive. In places like Newark, it's very common to see people hanging out on a corner or just playing music. That wouldn't slide in Short Hills. You'd have the cops called on you in 2 minutes for trespassing around here. Most of the people here are very classist and probably don't accept poor or even middle-class people, and they probably look down on them. I mean, just look at some of these homes. This is definitely the nicest house I've seen so far. Well, one of the nicest houses. But look at all the deer. I'm probably trespassing on this person's property, but I gotta show you guys all these deer. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 deer. Wow. Right in front of this beautiful house. I feel like some wealthy person's gonna come out and be like, why are you on my property? Let's head back in the car. I actually thought that, recording these houses in the dark wouldn't be such a good idea, but it kind of makes the houses look nicer with all the lights and everything. This one right here is brand new. Look at that. Wow. But I'm going to use a filter on my phone to hopefully tune up the brightness so you guys can see a little bit more.
Hartshorn Drive, then turn left onto Parsonage Hill Road.
This is the most expensive place in Short Hills, $7.5 million. When I looked on Zillow, there's actually no homes under $1 million, and believe me, I tried. And of course, we can't talk about Short Hills without mentioning the famous Short Hills Mall. If you want high-end and designer, you'll find all you need at Short Hills Mall. These are the only businesses in Short Hills. Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Versace, Chanel. They have everything here, as well as many fancy restaurants like seafood and steakhouses. While your mall is going to have a Cinnabon, they have steakhouses here. While your mall has stores like Burlington, they have designer. This rich woman probably spent a truckload of her husband's money buying something really fancy that she probably doesn't even... Well, that's going to finish our tour for the wealthiest communities in New Jersey. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and God bless to all you guys.